Social anxiety is a persistent form of shyness. If you let it, it can rule your life. I am lucky enough to only have a mild form of social anxiety, but even so, it has shaped my relationships with others for years. It started in 6th grade. Struggling with an untreated mental illness made middle school especially challenging. I was basically living in fear of other people. Not of them exactly, but I was terrified of what people thought about me. I struggled with little things like making small talk or starting conversations, and I remember hearing my classmates laughing in the hallways as I walked by. I knew rationally that they were probably laughing over a joke, but a voice in the back of my head would say, "They're laughing at you." Some days are worse than others. Sometimes I feel hesitant to talk to anyone, even close friends and family. I never really talked about how I felt, except to my parents, because I was so frightened people would think I was weird or unfriendly. For a long time, I pushed this part of myself down because I internalized the idea that having mental illness was shameful. And of course, this only made things worse. I remember when I finally received counseling in my last year of high school. My mom kept apologizing to me, saying, "I'm sorry, we should have done this sooner. I should have recognized it." I can say with absolute confidence that my social anxiety has gotten better during college. I think a large part of that positive change had to do with going to therapy, receiving medication to help manage it, and finally having a name for what I was experiencing.
When I was 7 years old, I was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome. What makes me tick? It's a bit more complicated than that. Stress and anxiety are key contributors to the process. I would lash my head around, wrenching and stretching my neck to the point of painful exhaustion. My shoulders would erratically become strained and not release. My toes would tense up in my shoes. I'd become enraged at the slightest smell or sound. Feeling uneasy in my body and space, I was agitated by it, infuriated by surrounding stimuli. I couldn't focus, couldn't think. All I could think of was the pain. Worrying about the judgment in the eyes of many. Honestly, I was just a sensitive guy with information overload surrounding me. I simply hadn't found a way to survive in an ever-changing environment. Since receiving my diagnosis until my teen years, my mother has had my back. We've struggled and we've persevered. I want my mother to have lived knowing that I came out of this mess in a positive way. She has fought battles and stood up for me in ways that can't be described, other than by transcending love and empowerment. Where there is darkness, there is light. And where there are tics, there are positive outlets. I have to remember that everything in life is a part of something bigger than myself. Within this space, there is room to grow. If you are living with Tourette's, just remember with every tic, you will be a stronger person because of it. You are capable of shaping your destiny.
Being bipolar isn't easy. The diagnosis didn't come until I was 19 years old, and before that, I had no idea what was happening to me. I mostly just felt left out of the world, that I didn't belong because there was something wrong with me. I was unstable, and my emotions would change for what seemed like no reason. Looking back on what has happened to me in the last year, being hospitalized 3 times in 4 months, and doing many things I regret, I've learned that I have to deal with the things I did. Some I don't even remember doing. I denied that there was anything wrong, and that just made it worse. It's only recently I've accepted who I am and how I can deal with having bipolar disorder. I realized that I'm no different from everyone else. I've been in groups and classes designed to help the members cope and live with our disorders. Those groups saved my life more than once. I learned acceptance, mindfulness, and emotional regulation. I use all those skills in my everyday life, and I truly feel like a normal person again. I went from thinking I had no future and that I didn't want one to looking forward to what's coming next and having a positive outlook on life. Now that I'm on medication, and the right medication, knowing how to manage my disorder and my emotions, I can go through the world the way I want to and be in control of my own life.
Things may be hard right now, but they will get better. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and always remember, you can do this.
No one is alone in this struggle. No one is defined by this disorder.
Things may seem dark, but there's always a light somewhere. Don't lose all hope, and you'll find happiness.